All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Sunday is one of the biggest racing days of the year. You got the Grand Prix of Monaco in Formula One on Sunday morning. Then you've got the Coca Cola 600 courtesy of NASCAR that evening. And smack dab in the middle of all of that, you've got the Indianapolis 500. Now, we've seen some nail biting finishes in recent years at the Brickyard, which included Joseph Newgarden overtaking Marcus Ericsson for the lead on the final lap en route to victory last year. And honestly, I think this year's race should be extremely exciting. In all, there are going to be 8 previous winners of this race in the field of the 33 drivers for Sunday. You look at the starting grid, and it was a clean sweep by Team Penske. You got Scott McLaughlin as a pole sitter, who is looking to become the first pole sitter since Simon Pagenaud in 2019 to start the race at the front and win the whole shebang. You've got McLaughlin's teammate Will Power, number 2. He's a previous winner, and then you've got Joseph Newgarden, the reigning champ, at number 3. So much for all of that Penske controversy that we saw, after the first race of the year. And, it's been a strong rebound for Penske ever since, of course, with Scott McLaughlin winning in Alabama. And then, like I said before, you got 1, 2, and 3 on the pole for Sunday at Indianapolis. Kudos to Kyle Larson, the NASCAR driver is looking to do the double. He's not going to be the first to have done it, but he wants to add his name to the history books. And you think about it, coming over to participate in the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday, while he's also looking to compete in the Coca-Cola 600 that evening. But nonetheless, for Kyle Larson, how about this? First time at the Brickyard, and he, as an IndyCar driver, okay, he's done it, for NASCAR, but as an IndyCar driver, and he's taking fifth. He's starting his race fifth on Sunday. But then you look at this field. This is a very deep field that we are going to see for Sunday. And to give you an idea of the depth of that field, we're talking about Alex Palou on row 5, and then we're talking about Scott Dixon in row 7. Two of the top drivers for Chip Ganassi, 2 guys who have won the championship before, and 2 guys who definitely have what it takes to win this race this year. Just gives you an idea of how deep that this field is going to be on Sunday. The return of Helio Castroneves as he's looking to become the first driver to win the Indianapolis 500 5 times. He currently has a 4-way tie with himself, the great AJ Foyt, Al Unser Sr., and of course, Rick Mears. It would be a true testament to what Castroneves has done on the racetracks over the years if he were to return and win Indy once more. Now, Marcus Ericsson, and this is a very interesting story here. He had to sweat it out as he begins this race 32, and he was a late qualifier. And you just sit back and you're like, wow, what a difference that a year makes, because Marcus Ericsson last year was within a whisker, okay, of being the first driver in more than 20 years. Elio Castroneves was the last guy to do it, but he was within a whisker of being the first guy to go back to back and win this race in consecutive years. It looked like this race was going to end under caution, which would have declared Ericsson the winner. But race control decided, hey, you know what? We want a green flag finish. Ericsson was leading. Of course, Newgarden jumped him on that last lap, and then the rest is history. But now Ericsson is going to have to come from the back of the field if he wants to make it to Indy championships in 3 years. It's not impossible, okay, but he definitely has his work cut out for him on Sunday. Like I said, this is a very good field, and it's a very deep field. Some things that are always unpredictable. you never know if and when you're going to get that big wreck at Indy. Okay, that's always a big thing. You never know how many cautions are going to come out, and that could always throw a monkey wrench into the plans of a lot of teams, a lot of drivers. So it's going to be interesting to see how it breaks down. But you look at this, and like I said before, a very deep field. We've got Penske, dominating the first row. But then you look at row two, you got Alexander Rossi right there, Kyle Larson, Santino Ferrucci. And of course, Ferrucci finished third last year in this race for AJ Foyt. And I guarantee you, he's still a hungry driver that's looking to get that checker flag. Rossi's won it before. He and Arrow McLaren have a strong car. And speaking of Arrow McLaren, you look at row number three with Pato Award right there. You've also got Felix Rosenquist representing Meyer Shank on that row. Row number four, two former winners on row four. You got Takuma Sato as well as Ryan Hunter-Reay. And don't sleep on Kyle Kirkwood, who was wrecked out of this race last year. Row number five, you've got Colton Herter, Alex Palou, and Callum Ilott. And, Palou, started the race as opposed to the last year, got wrecked on pit row and was able to come back and still finish top five. And Pelot is one of those guys, just like his Chip Ganassi teammate and Scott Dixon. You might not pay attention to him. You think he might, you'll see him drop the 20th and think he's out of the race. But at the end of the day, Pelot is a very strong and smart driver, and he knows how to work his way back through the course. So again, seeing him, in row five to begin this race is not a deterrent to say, he can't have an impact on the outcome of this race. You look at row six with Marcus Armstrong, Ed Carpenter, and Kiffin Simpson. Row seven, very strong, Marco Andretti, Elio Castroneves, and Scott Dixon. Row eight, you look at the likes of Stingray Robb racing for AJ Foyt Racing. Can he go out there and make an impact in this one? Row nine with Roman Grosjean, right there in the middle of things. Can he have an impact? We got to wait and see. Connor Daly, coming out of row 10, row 11, again, like I said, with Marcus Ericsson and then Graham Rahal. He had to sweat it out as well as far as qualifying goes. But you know what? For Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing, can they have an impact on this race? Like I said, it comes down, always is going to be pit strategy. You think about that first pit, it's always around anywhere between laps 28 and 32. But nonetheless, the cautions. And then, of course, like I said, who can avoid that big wreck? But nonetheless, there's always plenty of excitement the Sunday before Memorial Day at the Brickyard. And I think the 108th version of this great race will definitely be worth the price of admission and then some. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.